My name is Dottie and I'm born in Bambi 68 years ago.
And I'm Jens, I'm from Denmark and I'm from Viborg. I'm 65 years old and we've been married for, well, this summer 43 years. Daughter is a school teacher and she became later a nurse, a psychiatric nurse, and well, I'm a carpenter.
We met in Kuchlisset in Bispo Bay.
After half a year of proper thought, we put down together our belongings, and daughter had a wonderful daughter, Camilla. I became the father of her when she was 3 years old. And later on we got 2 more kids. We got Kim Manak at first, it was in 1980, and we got Adam in 1982. So we were a very happy couple with 3 children, and even beside that we have 4 grandchildren.
Yeah.
2 in England and 2 here. The meaning of Kislua means her cooking fire. And that's her boat. It's the way to cook our meals. It's where there's something cooking always. But it's also the meaning of the place where we found the boat. Because when you have a wind from a certain direction in that bay, which looked like a well-sheltered bay, it's actually really a boiling pot. And the reason we got the boat was because it sank there. 2 Englishmen, the couple, had the boat and sought shelter going south, going to Newfoundland, and had to leave before a hurricane would come, which would be even stronger. They sought shelter in that bay and were washed ashore. And we actually got the boat for £1.
When we get Kislua and we talk about to sail around the world, and I want to sail through Norway's Pacific.
And we left with this circumnavigation in 2017. With this brilliant pointing stick, which is the penis of a walrus, I can point out the route around the world because we envisioned it. And we have Greenland here just underneath the white North Pole. We started here in Nuuk. We go through the Northwest Passage. Ellesmere Island is up here. And here we have Resolute. We go south to Peel Sound and comes out to the Aleutian Islands. And Dutch Harbor we leave and continue around the world here. And we get to Hawaii. And we pass through the Marshall Islands and Bikini. And then we come to Micronesia and visit Pohnpei, and we visit Yap. Then we go to the Philippines, and from Philippines we go down to Borneo and follow the coast down of Borneo. And we pass through Indonesia, and not through the Malacca Strait, but next to Krakatau, out into the Indian Ocean here, where we go to a small island that belongs to Australia. It's called Coco Keeling Island. From there we go to Rodrigue, and we go to Mauritius. And from there, passing by Madagascar, south of Africa, going up to St. Helena. And here you have the boat, which was moved on this board by our grandchild every time he got the new message that now we are here. Then he moved it up here like that, approaching, which one would that be? Cape Verde Islands. Yes, we thought we would go there, but we went over to Fernando Noronha over here instead, and followed the coast up here to Caribbean. And the Caribbean islands up to the States, pass by New York and Newfoundland, and then go up here to Greenland. And were welcomed almost 2 years after we left. And there was 500 people gathered in daughter's hometown here in Bambi to welcome us. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience for us. So that was our tour around the world. Whether we had difficulties in the Northwest Passage? Yes, we had, but we conquered them.
We sailed from Nuuk the ultimo June and goes to Upernavik, and sail from Upernavik to Canada middle of July, and we come to Resolute then 21 of July, and was there in 3 weeks to sail Laos because there was a lot of ice.
And there are 2 options. You can go through Bellot Strait, or you can go through Peel Sound from there. And we picked Peel Sound because you might get blocked Bellot Strait. we went straight south and there was an opening, but unfortunately we were caught in some drifting ice, and we were washed along for how much? More than, I think, 30 hours with all that ice, and it had a tremendous speed and a size also, and came into the boat quite powerfully. And we were, of course, afraid of the boat, whether it could stand all that pressure and the banging on the side there, and it was rough. But it stood it, and eventually we just slid along with all that ice, with no ice moving around the boat anymore. And well, finally you went to sleep. You had to go to sleep. You couldn't stay awake all the time because we had to have shifts also. So you had to go to sleep. And before that, you made a small prayer to your father.
My father, he's a seaman, and he has always said when I was tired. So I said to him, "Can you help us?" Because it was so lot of currents and ice. Or what?
Yeah, the rudder.
Yeah, was broke.
Actually, it was only the tiller, not really the rudder. It was only the tiller, the handle to the rudder, and we had a spare, so we just put that on. And fortunately, the wind steering wasn't damaged. And after you went to sleep, I pulled out the sails, so there was a bit of pull in the boat, because I had to run to the front of the boat to push away all the floats. And every time I got back to start up the engine, they had floated together and obstructed the route. So with the sail on, we were pulled all the time, and you were down asleep. And when you got up again, we had reached the open. Organized like our marriage. We take things as they come. We've been sailing a lot together, so it just came out naturally. When one was tired, the other one was to take a watch, and it usually was so that I had the dog watch from midnight and until 6, 7 in the morning, and then you had from morning to noon. I had a bit of the afternoon and cooked and so on into the evening, and then me during the night. And it just came out naturally that way. 6, 6, 6, 6. A lot of time the boat was steering itself with the windway.
When we can see the land.
What land? Greenland or
Greenland,
any land?
Any land.
Any land.
Sure.
If I have to speak for myself, it would be all the people that we met. Because sailing is one thing, and it's wonderful to being at the sea. I could be it all the time. But on the other hand, meeting all the people we met. And I have to say that all people are very, very nice around the world. You don't have to carry any fear. Of course you can run into some troubles, but people are nice. Naturally, they are nice, kind and helpful. We had to do something aboard to make time pass, and here is, you see my wife and me with our boat here sailing out in the world, flying out in the world, or coming back again. I was picking coconuts with a long stick, 6 meters long, and eventually a coconut fell onto my head, and I have a subdural hematonia, which means a bleeding inside the skull. And here we have a scooter trip up in the country on a rented scooter with this beautiful woman in her white dress, that's my wife, and I'm the one who's having the steering wheel. Up in the mountains, coming back, she went to a dance, and they dance seka in these islands, and she's very good at that. I wasn't allowed to enter because I wore short pants and you had to have long trousers, so I had to go back. And when I came up there again, she was dancing with this fellow. I don't like him. Well, getting to Mauritius 2 months after, the bleeding had got so big I had to be operated. Here we have the skull. It's not that big, I can promise you. It's much, much smaller, but they're letting out blood of it. And here we have all these dark fellows and the German doctor who did the operation. And I was grounded for almost 5 months there, so we had to have something to do. We went to a Muslim training team of Tai Chi and Kung Fu and whatever, and it was very good. We went there, both of us, and all kinds of people there. They lived together indeed in harmony in that island. My wife here sitting sewing aboard the boat. because she also had to have something to do. And she did so. The color is just to show something different than normal skin color. We caught one of these, we call them mahi mahi. It's a dolphin fish, and we caught it with the harpoon, and we're very happy because we haven't had fresh food for a long time. And so we carried on going home.
I'm proud to tell about my country.
Also, Dorte has the advantage of being the first Greenlander who sailed around the world in her own boat and tell the story about it. So that shows also that you can do what you want, no matter where you come from. If you have the desire, the world is open and you're able to manage.